plan last weekend was sort of the by committee, sort of link it up as one, but just are you guys going back to that, or I guess do you know what kind of the plan is heading into Kentucky?
Yeah, I think we'll take one more day. If I say something, I think it could change. I think by tomorrow, something similar. I think we were TBA 2 games, and I think we'll probably be 1 this week. So I think we'll name a game 1 and game 2 starter, whether we go with Watts or try to maybe the Myers to Armstrong was pretty good, but you saw us just try to do everything we can to keep that to a 1-run ball game right there, and saw how important that is. And Armstrong did such a good job in game 1 against Tennessee, so probably need a minute there. I think also might circle back into the rotation, but I think game 3 would be up in the air, so it might be Watson also, but we'll need a little more time to confirm.
Are you concerned any about the confidence of your team, and will you do anything in the next couple of days here to try to build them back up or get them going a little bit better?
Yeah, I've tried. I think whenever you struggle or you're challenged, and we all know the narrative of what we played these first 4 weeks and felt like that we or maybe 3 games off of schedule because we probably hadn't played our best baseball, and it could be a completely different world. But I think whenever you're challenged and not doing good, I think messaging, we're trying to be a little more stern now, come out of this and lead, and you've had to do this before, but head on, and just meeting things head on is how you handle things. I don't think there's another way, and we've got to figure out strategies to be head on. And I'm overseeing and going around from cubicle to cubicle and checking and seeing what we're working on, even more intense as we work through the last 2 weeks. So that hadn't started just yesterday. That's been ongoing because of things that we're seeing. But it's my responsibility, but we need some players to take that ownership as well and get conviction. Pitchers need to throw every pitch with ownership and conviction. Every player needs to be accountable for their approach and absolutely how we're attacking the game. So I know these guys in here, these coaches will stay with them, and that's our deal. But the players got to work through this as well, because they have some say in our program, and they have some duty to be able to do that to get us going.
Bobby Pearson missed, I think, 3 straight games now. Ike Harris is out tonight. Could you update their status?
Yeah, they're both hands, and they'll both go see a specialist tomorrow, and that'll give us a better feel. So that'll be Wednesday. They'll go do that and have a better feel. So I think we've worked as quick as we could to get them. We didn't think Bobby's would be long at all. That's extended now for heading into potentially 4 games. So maybe we'll get a clearer picture tomorrow and see where we're at with Ike as well. But we're specialists away from having a little more direction and clarity of being able to communicate something to everybody.
I guess kind of following up on that, I know Caden in the last game looked like he had an injury. I know he didn't play tonight, but what's his status?
Yeah, he's in a sling still for a couple more days. He made a dive, actually 2. The one that we saw him didn't get up with, he had won a couple innings before, and I think it came out, and then they got it back in. But I think that's pretty painful, and so it's been pretty sore, and he's been in a sling. They told me to wait till Monday to see what it looked like after a week. He had a prior, I think, with that situation and had it worked on a little bit. So I think it's positive that it's going back in. I think it's one of those pain tolerance issues now, and I know we're giving it a week, and so he'll definitely be out for the Kentucky series, and we'll evaluate Caden on Monday.
And then just looking at this Kentucky team, I know last week you're playing a team that's got a really big, powerful lineup with the bats. I know this team is maybe a little different, but just what do you see with this Kentucky team?
Yeah, love Nick. He does an amazing job there. They hosted a regional there at their place last year. I think he has done an amazing job, maybe better than anybody in the league, because they're out in front of this league of knowing exactly what identity he needs to create. The one for their ballpark there, being more northern, being maybe the biggest ballpark in the league. They've done some things. To put it in perspective, I guess they have attempted 88 stolen bases, Vanderbilt 72, and we feel like we've run more this year at 63. So when you start talking about somebody that's attempted 25 more steals, that's number 1. We saw some fake bunts tonight. I think we're going to see some of that action, some of the bunt stuff, but they can hit too. So they've absolutely done that. I think from a pitching standpoint, I know they had a CG on this last game of their past series, a lefty, and I think they do an amazing job of just what are your weaknesses, hit what you're not good at, and there's different pitching strategies, but they're kind of that autopilot, kind of that role from that standpoint with their pitchers, and just do an amazing job overall. So another complete hot team that will absolutely force you to have to defend the field and do some strategic things from bunt first thirds, and they're definitely going to try to take a base.
And I feel like this question gets asked a lot in football and basketball both, of just like, familiarity between coaches and if it's a benefit at all in strategy and game planning. But I know you and Nick work alongside each other. Is there any benefit to that when it comes to strategizing and going up against another coach in their lineup?
Not as much as I think, and because our game's a little different. There's no line of scrimmage. There's no clock, and this is about the players and individual setups and what they do. So maybe a little bit, because I just know that he's always going to figure out the strength of his is always figuring out the best way to run a ball club, and to his credit, it doesn't have to look like anybody else if he's convicted on it. So, but once you get into the ball game and do some things, I don't think that's as much of an advantage as it is in the other sport.